What is going on, y'all? My name is Spice. This is Spice Can't Fish, and from the title of the video, you guys should already be able to tell what's going on, but we got another Bass Baits Monthly unboxing this month. So it's now currently February, which means that fishing season's right around the corner, which means that hopefully these unboxings are going to get a little bit more interesting for you guys. Usually I would like to take these baits out and, actually go fishing with them, but currently it's, well, hang on. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is -3 degrees right now. So yeah, fishing is really not an option right now. And usually I'd like to make these unboxings at least a little bit more interesting for you guys and get outside to take some B-roll or maybe do the whole unboxing outside, but yeah, if you guys look outside, it's not the best outside weather right now. It's pretty snowy. Actually, I don't know if you guys can see this right here, but this is ice, and this ice is actually on the inside of my window. So if that gives you guys any perspective as to how cold it is, we're literally getting ice on the inside of our windows just because in here it's a little bit more warm and humid than it is out there. So yeah, I don't really think that today is going to be one of those unboxings where we go outside and do anything. It's just too cold. There's absolutely no way I'm going outside. No freaking way. Well, this freaking sucks. Yeah, I know, I said I wasn't gonna come out, but I mean, I don't really want to be in my apartment either, to be honest. I don't know, it's not the best for filming, it's not the best for good content and B-roll for you guys, so I'm gonna suck it up today. But anyway, let's get right into this box real quick. If you guys don't know what Bass Baits Monthly is, they're just another one of those tackle subscription companies, much like the Monster Bass Box or the Mystery Tackle Box or Lucky Tackle Box, which I don't even know if they're still around, but they used to make a little subscription box, and this is pretty much the same thing. Now, the one thing that I noticed a lot about those other subscription boxes was they kind of seem to have some sort of brand loyalty. So whether it's Monster Bass towards Strike King or whoever they work with, or Mystery Tackle Box towards like Catch Cut and Guggen Squad, it just seems like they really angle their boxes to kind of send you their products and plug their products. And then a lot of the other stuff they put in there is just kind of like filler stuff, like maybe like a small pack of hooks or like a sample pack of some worms or whatever. But it just seems like a lot of that stuff was really more just there to make the box look good as opposed to, actually be good for you to be fishing with. By the way, I apologize if there's any like background noise of geese. There's like the smallest sliver of open water over there, and there's about 100 geese just kind of wallowing around in it. So we're just gonna have to deal with that right now. But anyway, back to the box. The reason that I like Bass Baits Monthly over a lot of those other tackle subscription companies, and don't worry, I've tried a lot of them. I've tried the Monster Bass Box, I've tried Lucky Tackle Box, I've tried Mystery Tackle Box. I've probably tried a couple other ones in here and there, but this one's definitely the best one that I've found so far. And that's because they don't really seem to have any sort of brand loyalty. Like every once in a while they'll send you like 2 products from the same company or something, but it really seems like they're trying to get you to try as many different companies and as many different styles of lures as they possibly can. And they're not trying to like make money, they're not trying to plug you like random lures that they make so that you can try and buy more stuff from them. It's all just name brand companies, reputable companies that they've been trying and have tested and made sure that all the lures work. It's not just going to be something that's like eye-catching or looks really cool in your box but doesn't really work when you get it on the water. But anyway, enough of me talking. I'm really excited to see what we got in this month's box. This one should be a pretty good one. So first up in the box, you always get a Bass Baits Monthly sticker and just one of these little cards. On the back, it's just got their information in case you guys want to try their boxes or maybe submit some pictures. If you guys actually use the boxes, they'll usually put up their pictures on their Instagram or something like that. Usually I'll just use these for decoration, nothing super special about them. I've got about 7 of these Bass Baits Monthly stickers already, so I'll probably just stick it on a tackle box or whatever. And these I usually just hang up just because they have like the knot instructionals on the back, and I don't know, kind of cool little artwork design if you're a fisherman like me and you just want everything in your life to revolve around fishing. So first up out of the box, we have these robo worms. These are the Alive Shad in the 3-inch. This color is called Prism Shad, so it's just got like a little natural smoke belly and then looks like a purple back with like a little bit of blue in there. Super realistic, natural bait fish kind of presentation. Most people know robo worms for the robo worm. This is actually just another one of their drop shot baits. It's a little bit more of a bait fish presentation as opposed to the worm presentation that most people use. It's got that little tapered tail, so it gives it a little bit of extra action in the water as you're kind of jigging it. These would probably be fantastic, like I said, on a drop shot. I could also see these working pretty well on like a Ned rig or maybe even like a split shot rig, something like that. The two things that RoboWorm is known for are the robotic technology, which I guess is what they use to make their hand-poured looking colors, which makes the colors obviously pop and look really, really good, as well as super natural. And they can get some really precise like color combinations in there. And then the other thing is, of course, the high salt content. These lures have a ton of salt in them. You probably can tell just from looking at the bag, there's just like a bunch of salt in here. But supposedly that helps the fish hang on to the lure once they bite it a little bit longer. Kind of adds a little bit more of a realistic presentation. So these should all around be really good. Like I said, again, on a drop shot, Ned rig, I'll probably just use them on a drop shot. But again, this is the Prism Shad color. They come in a 3-inch, which we have here, as well as the 4-inch, which is just a little bit bigger. Should be a little bit better for like, I don't know, a small Texas rig or something like that. And they come in a pack of 10 for $4.09, so pretty solid deal, just a good little all-around drop shot bait for when this ice goes away. To go along with that, they also included a 7-pack of the Owner Mosquito Hooks. These are the 1/0 size, so just a little bit of a all-around good drop shot hook. Wacky rig hook, Nico rig hook, pretty much anything that you would use that circular round bend style hook for, these are going to be doing really good for. Personally, I like a little bit of a smaller size, but I'm going to be using it for drop shotting, maybe like a size 1 or a size 2. From what I can tell, the smaller the hook, the better. It just gives a little bit more of a natural presentation. But these should work overall just really good for any sort of finesse applications that you would want to use these for. These are, of course, Owner hooks, so they're black nickel and they're super sharp, so this should be long lasting and you should be able to catch a ton of fish on one of these hooks before it bends out or wears out or whatever. Next up out of the box, we got another cold water killer for just after the ice comes off. This is the Spro Mcclellan mixed stick jerkbait. This is the 110 size. I think they also come in like a smaller 90 size and then a little bit bigger. But these are probably just the average size jerkbait that I will reach for is the 110 size. It's kind of like the industry standard. So again, these were designed by the BASS Elite Pro Mcclellan. These are just really designed for fishing in super cold water. The way that they made this, they have a really tight kind of action as opposed to a really wide erratic action, which should work a little bit better in like warmer water, maybe around that 50-60 degree water mark. Whereas this one was really designed for that super cold water right when the ice comes off. Got a very subtle like jerking pattern, and it should be a little bit better for those more lethargic fish. The way this lure is designed, it also suspends with the nose down like this, which increases the amount of hookups that you get, and also your bite to land ratio considerably goes up when you have a jerkbait that sits like this in the water as opposed to one that just sits straight like that. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe just the angle of the hooks is a little bit better for this as opposed to this, but supposedly that helps with the hookup ratio. And to help with the realism, it also comes with these like etched gill patterns in there, as well as some etched scales, which really add to the realism of the bait. Like I said, it just makes it look like an all-natural, super realistic shad. And this color that they sent us is Natural Herring. So again, just a really natural shad color. Should be great for any of your bait fish thick waters for any time after the ice comes off. Man, I am sorry if I'm like stuttering or something. It is so cold out right now. I should not be outside, and I should have definitely worn gloves. Alright, I'm going to try and speed through the rest of this box so I don't have to stay out here for much longer. Next up, we got the Santone lures. I think this is the Pretender or the Contender. Hang on. Yes, this is the Santone Pretender spinnerbait. This is in the mouse color. A little bit of a 1/2 ounce or 3/8 ounce size. Sorry, 1/2 ounce size. Should be really good all around for just imitating like bluegill or shad. It's just kind of like an interesting, almost like a darker pattern, so that could either go either way. Honestly, I see this doing a really good job imitating like crappie, black crappie and white crappie, especially around the spawn, when the crappie spawn, not when the bass spawn. Crappie will spawn a little bit before the bass, so this would be a really great like pre-spawn overall lure for that. So these are obviously really well made spinnerbaits. They come with a mustad hook, different Spro components on here, so all like the wires and stuff are made by Spro, so they're all tournament ready, high quality components. They're offered in a bunch of different blade orientations. This one here is a willow blade, as you guys can tell. They also have Colorado blades, Colorado willow tandem, and then something that they call a turtle blade, which I don't know what that is. I guess it's just like more shaped like a turtle shell as opposed to a Colorado blade or something like that. Anyway, these lures also come with reflective eyes and like a really natural paint scheme, so they look really, really good. And I think you can get them also with a bunch of different blade colors. So they come with like bronze, nickel, or maybe it's copper and nickel. I don't really know what they would describe them as, but just like that more gold color, and then the nickel color blade. And they also have like ones that have like fleck in them, so they're painted with like a silver or red fleck or something like that. And they also have ones that are like, I guess, wrapped or made to look like actual scales. So those could be really good if you're trying to imitate a little bit more of a natural forage as opposed to just trying to create some flash and vibration like you would with this. Next up out of the box, we have another lure from Santone Lures. This is their Chris McCall Sam Rayburn Swim Jig. So this lure was again designed by Chris McCall. This was designed, I think, just fishing on Sam Rayburn Reservoir down in Texas. That's where he designed this lure, and that's obviously where the name came from. They say this lure is supposed to be designed to be super weedless and ultra natural or realistic, so it's got these really nice looking paint schemes on them. This one is the mean green color, so it's just kind of like a shad with some really, really bright chartreuse in there. To add to the realism, they also powder coated the head as well as gave it these super big, ultra realistic eyes on there, and they honestly look like a super good, well-made swim jig. To keep your bait on there, they have a double bait keeper, and supposedly they should have a weed guard on here, but this one doesn't seem to have a weed guard for some reason. That's kind of weird. Anyway, supposedly these should have a weed guard on them. This one doesn't. It has a hole for it, it just doesn't have a weed guard. I don't know if that was like a manufacturer issue or something like that, I'm not really sure, but it should still probably work. It just won't be as weedless, probably. But regardless, the rest of the components on this are super solid. Like I said, mustad hook, double grip, bait keeper to keep your baits on there super well. Overall, just a really solid swim jig. I don't know what happened to the weed guard. So next up, we got a Chatterbait. This is a ZMan Project Z Chatterbait. So it's very similar to the normal Chatterbait. They just kind of upgraded all the components on it. So it's got a little bit of a stronger blade. The line tie is a little bit beefier to handle some larger fish. It's got a little bit of a stronger hook on it, again for larger fish. Double weed guard to keep your plastics on a little bit stronger. And it has a super lifelike, realistic head as well. They painted the head, added some eyes to it, so it looks a little bit more like a bait fish as opposed to just that standard normal like head that they put on it, which I guess is just normally like an Arky style jig head or something. I also believe the skirt that they put on this is a little bit different, so obviously it's going to be a little bit more colorful, a little bit fuller of a color, so it looks a little bit more natural. But I think the skirt material is also a little bit different, so it poofs up a little bit more and gives a little bit more of a fuller bait fish presentation than the normal Chatterbait skirt. Overall though, this is a pretty solid looking little bait. I haven't really thrown this Chatterbait all that much. I usually just stick with the normal ones, or more recently I picked up the Picasso shock blade, which I actually got from another Bass Baits Monthly box. But I'm gonna have to give this one a shot in the spring. Just looks all around like a solid Chatterbait. Doesn't look like anything special, just a little bit more expensive and a little bit, I don't know, a little bit nicer, I guess. And this color is called blueback herring, so another herring shad kind of imitating color. Overall looks really, really good though. Got a little bit of olive in there, a little bit of chartreuse, and then it's not exactly white, it's kind of like an off-white, but looks pretty good, looks really, really natural. So this should definitely get bit, especially in the spring when they start feeding on shad and bait fish. And then the last up out of the box, we have a pack of these. These are the Power Baits Power Swimmers. So this is the 3.8 inch size, which is probably the size that I would reach for most often, either the 3.8 or the 4.3 size. Those are going to be my go-to sizes for like a swim jig or a chatterbait trailer. I think that's what these were designed for. It says on the package that you're supposed to use them on a jig head, but from what I hear, most people will use them as either a chatterbait or a swim jig trailer. The chatterbait, because it doesn't really have a ton of action, like the bait itself doesn't have like an over-exaggerated like wide kicking tail action like a normal Kitech would have. It's more of like a subtle side-to-side kick, and it doesn't really impact the action of the chatterbait, which is kind of why most people don't throw like most sorts of Kitex or swim baits or something on the back of a chatterbait. And then also it could work really well as a swim jig trailer, again, just because it's got that little bit more subtle kick. So when you're using a swim jig, especially for me, I'm trying to be a little bit more subtle and a little bit more natural, so a little bit more of a natural subtle kick would probably work really well. These are a little bit small for me to want to throw them on just like an underspin or like a belly weighted swim bait hook, but I really think these should shine as a chatterbait or swim jig trailer in the springs. And I'm just now realizing that I haven't been talking about the prices about any of these. We'll have them all down for you guys on the screen so you guys can see, but I'm sorry, it's just been so cold I can't even think right. But yeah, this is in the silver flash color, so again, just more like a natural minnow baitfish kind of color, more of like a smoke color on the top, and then kind of a clearish color on the bottom. Just looks really good and really natural. Got a little bit of gold, silver, black, and green flake in there. That should do really well imitating like a shad or really just any sort of baitfish. All right, my butt is freezing right now. I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants, and I can tell both of them are wet just because I decided to sit in the snow like an idiot. But I'm gonna meet y'all back in my apartment, and we're just gonna go over some last and final thoughts about the baits in this box. Whew. All right, y'all, I am now officially no longer super cold, still a little cold, but not super cold anymore. So I'm just gonna go over some last and final thoughts and opinions on this month's box. So I've actually been subscribed to Bass Baits Monthly for 6 months now. This is gonna be the 6th month that I did the Bass Baits Monthly unboxings for y'all. And honestly, I can't say really anything bad about the boxes. Like I said, they're just a great value. They always use reputable companies. They're not sponsored by anybody, so they're not like trying to get you to use a specific type of lure, company of lure, or something like that. And honestly, I don't think I've really gotten very much in the boxes where I was like, well, I don't really know when I'm going to be able to use this. Like everything that I've gotten over the past 6 months have more or less been stuff that either I could use or I could see myself using in some sort of situation. Now, a lot of y'all also want to know about whether or not the box is worth it. So I think I paid right around $32 for this box. That's usually how much they go for, is like just over $30. And I actually tallied up all the prices of everything. If you were to just buy every single lure by itself, you would have actually spent around $45, $46. So again, super excited about all the lures in the box, especially that new chatterbait. I'm really excited to see how those stack up against the normal chatterbaits. And I'm also really interested in trying out that jerkbait as well. That thing looks really cool. So we're gonna have to give both of those a shot once the water warms up just a little bit. But yeah, overall, $45, $46 value for a $30, $31 box is really good for me. Saves you about $15, give or take, on all your lures. And all the lures are super reputable, super interesting. I'm really stoked to use them all in the spring. So with that being said, I think that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a favor, go down below and hit that like button. Lets me know that you guys like the content and you want to see some more of it. Also, if you want to see some more videos from me, go down below and hit that subscribe button as well so that you guys don't miss any of the uploads that I put up. I put up 2 new videos every single week, one on Monday and one on Friday. So if y'all are interested in seeing some more content from me, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. But I think that's going to do it for me, y'all. Check them and wreck them, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Why are y'all here? Go somewhere else. It's cold as fuck. What are you doing?